So I'm curious,
Yeah,
Mark. I know
definitely.
you have some stories of sorry, some discrimination stuff against Igorots in the States. How about
In the States, yeah.
in the UK? Have you? I know you've moved there more recently, but have you come across anything like
Hmm.
that, or
No, well, most of the Filipinos we hang out tend to be from the from our community.
right?
So not necessarily because like if anything, they just squabble amongst themselves, whether it be like a Basal Sagara thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
but but like a lot of the from what my wife has told me, she's experienced it growing up. In fact,
Mm.
I don't even know
They're
if
in
I should.
UK, right?
Yeah, they're in the UK, so I don't know
Interesting.
if I should talk about certain things just in case they watch this.
That's okay, but
But there have been people who have treated Wendy a little bit differently. They even called her ugly when she was young. I mean, these
wow,
were like supposed to be like her aunties and stuff like that, and they called her ugly because they thought that it was. I guess they're not Igorot and they saw her as Igorot and they're like, oh, she's so ugly. Oh, almost like pitied her for being ugly, or something like that. And these were like kind of like my mother-in-law had to be with because there wasn't that many Filipinos at that time.
right.
So this was her community at the time. I mean, there wasn't that
Mm.
many. Yeah, there wasn't that many Igorots at that time. Um, so it was different for them, like what they tolerated, and so they did experience that from other Filipinos, just that sense of um, uh, kind of like difference. They were subtly told they're difference, although being
Mhm.
told you're ugly because you're a girl, it's not really a subtle kind of thing. That's pretty blatant. You know what I mean? But my mother-in-law just happened to be a very industrious lady, and so she didn't. She knew they were talking smack behind her back, but she just did what she did, and she's in a much better place for it. And
Mhm.
she just moved along, and a lot of the people, she they just moved on with their lives and stuff. But
Well,
they did experience it from other Filipinos, discrimination. Mhm.
yeah. So
But
the
just as
thing is,
being Filipino in general, they definitely experienced it out here. Like,
yeah.
what's really weird? The flat that I live in is next door to my mother-in-law's house, right?
Mhm.
And the person who used to live in this flat used to torment my wife's family, and she used to
Really?
send them letters. She put things in their letters like, "I know you ate my cat" and stuff, and she would say all this racist stuff. She'd send letters to them, and
Oh.
yeah, it was. I mean, in England, it was it's
Wow.
funny because most of the white folks who used to live here, they moved away and they moved away to an area called Essex, and so this is the east. This is northeast area, and all the whiteys basically left because all the brown folks moved in, like the Pakistanis, the
Yeah,
Indians, the
the
Africans, the
Muslims.
Filipinos, yeah, the Muslims. They all moved in, and all the whiteys left and went to Essex. And when you go to Essex, you can feel it when you go there, and especially if you go to countryside. That whole man, me and Albert, my brother-in-law, we go to this pub. We were close to Wales, and we go to this pub, and the first thing these guys do as we go in, like kind of under the breath, there ain't no Chinese food here. There ain't no Chinese food here. Well, sorry, I'm not talking in a British accent, but that's what they were saying, and they were like, and then
Really?
they shut up when me and Al like stood there and just looked at them because maybe they thought we didn't understand English or something like that, you know? But that's like the first thing that we
That's
walk into a
hilarious.
pub and these guys are
Mhm.
like speaking out loud. Oh, there ain't no Chinese food here. And it's like, fuck you, we ain't Chinese. I said that out loud.
That's funny.
I did. So if he wanted to
That's
hear
funny.
that, it's up to him. Like just, but like
Yeah, those are the times
you
when I
definitely
just
experience more of it when you go out in London. In UK, you experience more of it when you go out of London. London itself is
right,
pretty diverse, and although it's gentrifying now, just like every other major city is, um,
right.
yeah, you're experiencing a different type of systemic racism. With folks who are like who are moving in to London uh, from the countryside, and they first moved to the cool area, like where all the artists go, and then they end up selling their properties for like super expensive. Then they moved into our neighborhood, and those are the ones that are living with us. And some are cool, and some they just, you can get the subtle vibes from them. They just don't know how to react. Especially since there's not a lot of Filipinos around where we live. They see you, they don't know what to act. They're like, he's not black, he's not Indian. I don't know what to do with this guy. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't look like The Rock.
I think when we were there, I don't know, one of the times we were visiting and we were taking a road trip down to the Stonehenge. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think I was expecting, because I think we went to a random restaurant. I was expecting something like that. Luckily, we didn't experience that. But I was like, am I gonna? Do they see like Asians or Filipinos or colored people in this area? Didn't seem like it, but no, they're totally fine. So maybe I just luck out.
That's good. That's
things.
good. You had a good experience. It's just more like when
I was in Iceland, I was. That's the one thing I was kind of low key worried about. But I mean, besides the fact that I'd interact with an Icelander that has never met a Filipino before, I haven't really experienced anything that blatant.
The kind of things that you see more is not being included. More like it, like So
anything like
one
subtle,
of the things, it's more subtle. It's just not things like not being included. So like if you look at the census out here, there is nothing for Filipinos. Even though there's a decent size, when you're talking about all of UK or even all of London, there is Filipinos. Yet they're not included in the census. You'll see like I think Chinese, black. They have everybody else but Filipinos, and so like those are the kind of things that you see in terms of like the system out here.